Can you imagine all 10 million people that live in LA County being unable to access firearms in any legal way because all of the gun stores would essentially have to close because there's no way to comply with these laws? Hello everyone, today we got some news coming from the hellscape that is California. If you're not from the state of California and you still watch these videos, whether it's just for some sort of sick pleasure, go ahead and drop a like. If you are from the state of California, look, you understand. Sometimes we just gotta vent. Feel free to leave a comment, vent about all the things that you dislike about this state. Before we get going into the meat and potatoes of this, I wanted to give some good news to start with. The CRPA recently announced that they just finished sending out letters to all of the issuing agencies, police departments, and sheriff's departments in the state of California who have been resisting complying with the law after the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin case. If you don't know what that was, it was a Supreme Court case brought up by the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association in New York challenging May issue concealed carry. The short of it is that we now, in the state of California and everywhere in the nation, live in a shall issue state where good cause cannot be a determining factor from the issuing agency like the sheriff or police department to determine who gets to carry a gun and protect themselves. Well, some of the agencies in California were resisting that and trying to find little ways to delay it, ways to stop it, saying, oh, we were waiting on some legislation, we were waiting on updates from the DOJ. Well, the CRPA is fighting for you, and they are sending letters demanding these issuing agencies follow the law or get sued. If you want to support them or support me in my court case, Boland v. Bonta, I'm going to have a link down to the CRPA below where you can donate and support. It would be much appreciated. Now, one thing that I thought was very interesting is the city of LA. We're going to be talking about two stories from LA. One of them from a representative who has had a history and a track record of being anti-gun, whether it's voting for or proposing legislation, calling for gun bans, that sort of thing. Well, Representative Karen Bass says her home was burglarized and that firearms were stolen. Now, a big thing that was very interesting from this press release and this article was talking about how this burglary happened in her home where her firearms were securely stored. Now, I'm sure as a proponent of gun control, this representative was properly following the state of California's laws regarding safe storage, whether there were children or prohibited persons around, and I'm sure that she reported it within the 5-day period that she had to. However, it's interesting that she is in this moment securely storing her firearms, and yet those were the only things of value that were stolen. This article mentions that electronics, cash, and other valuables were not taken, but the firearms were. I'm doing my best to not put on a tinfoil hat right now to cover up this receding hairline. Yeah, honestly, I've just born with this hairline and yeah, we are working with what we got. But the tinfoil hat does a good job of covering that up, but we're not going to put that on today because I'm sure nothing weird is going on here. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about from LA County is that the Board of Supervisors is exploring an array of possible gun regulations to combat the nation's gun violence epidemic. Now, do we think that this representative is directly contributing to this gun violence epidemic? Maybe she didn't have her firearms properly stored and secured. If you have a recommendation for a safe that could fit around 15 ARs or that kind of thing, drop a comment down below because I am in the market for a new safe that would fit my stuff without having to require me to disassemble stuff to Jenga it into my tiny little safe. So if you have a safe recommendation, drop it below. Now, the Board of Supervisors is looking to draft a series of gun laws, one of which would affect me kind of directly. Those of you that may know, I have a Desert Eagle on my concealed carry permit. Now, is the city of LA trying to ban me from being able to carry my 50 Action Express? Probably not. I don't really usually carry that gun ever. I have it on my CCW because I had an extra spot that I could put another gun. And between my Glock 19 and my Ruger LCP2, I had all my bases covered. When I go to renew it, I'll probably get something else put on there that isn't ridiculous like a Deagle. But one of the things that they're looking to do is ban the possession of 50 caliber handguns and the ammunition. So that would be things like 50 Action Express, Smith & Wesson 500, if you have a 50 Beowulf AR pistol potentially. Now, these are regulations and proposals that have not been actually signed into law yet. This is just their proposal. They're just looking to do something. Hashtag do something or one less, that kind of thing. Grandstanding as always. Now, the board directed the county staff to draft within 90 days a series of other regulations, including requiring ammunition dealers to obtain a county business license, restricting minors' access to gun and ammunition stores, requiring such stores to submit annual sales reports to the county licensing agency, and to submit weekly reports on inventory. This is definitely not going to massively increase the price and the ability to operate a business in LA County. It's definitely not going to cause a massive increase in the cost of goods due to the increased labor in order to just sell you those goods. This is not an indirect attack on your rights because they are running out of ways to attack it that can't be easily challenged in the courts. Now, it's also going to require that the stores maintain a fingerprint log, install security cameras, and notify all of its customers about gun owner responsibilities and gun laws, along with options for nearby gun safety classes. Those of you that don't know, in the state of California, if you want to buy a gun, generally you need what is called a firearm safety certificate. This requires you to take a 30-question multiple choice test which covers gun safety and gun regulation in the state of California. It's not an end-all be-all. Obviously, if it was super informative and everybody was an expert after taking this test, my channel wouldn't exist. It is what it is. But adding extra steps and requiring all these logs is going to massively increase the cost of business. We saw how when San Francisco enacted certain requirements for their gun stores, that the last gun store in San Francisco just left because they couldn't do it anymore. And this is exactly what the LA County is trying to do. Can you imagine all 10 million people that live in LA County being unable to access firearms in any legal way because all of the gun stores would essentially have to close because there's no way to comply with these laws? That's 10 million people stripped of their rights to keep and bear arms. Yeah, some people would be able to leave the county, but that's a pretty big area, and not everybody has access to vehicles where they can travel outside of the county to go buy a gun, and then 10 days later go buy it again. And then, if they want more ammunition, drive out of the county again. It is a direct, indirect attack on your rights to keep and bear arms. Now, there was an article in the San Francisco Examiner talking about how concealed carry gun applications surged in San Francisco after the Bruin decision. Surged is the word that they used. Then they talk about how the Sheriff's Department, has received 45 CCW applications. 45. I don't know if you know this, but San Francisco County is not a small county. There's a lot of people that live there. And the surge of people is 45 applicants with the Sheriff's Department. Now, one thing I wanted to point out is that my friend, who is a moderator, has been a longtime supporter of this channel, Tam, don't mean to dox you, bud, sorry, he applied for his CCW with the Sheriff's Department, was then told to apply with the police department, SFPD. I think he applied in like mid-June, and he just now made it through the interview, and he's got more steps to go, but it's actually going faster than a lot of other counties that have had a much longer track record of issuing. So if you live in San Francisco County, or if you live within the jurisdiction of SFPD, I would highly recommend you apply now, because it seems as if the restrictions on the type of guns you can carry, that kind of stuff, is actually better than some other counties as well. So get it while the getting is hot. If you live anywhere in the state of California and you're interested in a CCW, apply now, because more and more people are going to be applying. Now, one thing to point out is that people are so upset about San Francisco or people in big cities having the ability to keep and bear arms, to protect themselves, to protect their families. The idea of them, a responsible person, having the means to protect themselves is shocking. And they always say, just call the police. Why don't you just call 911? Well, another article that hit the news recently was catalytic converters stolen from 4 marked SFPD vehicles with no arrests made. The police cannot even protect their own vehicles. What makes you think they're going to be able to protect you? Have you ever walked through the SF Tenderloin? I have. Not making that mistake on accident again. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. Let me know what you guys think down below. You guys know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace.